In this video, everything comes out and we do it all again. This is what happens. Okay, so the time has come to move this engine, get it out of the way. So I'm going to chuck it into the Statesman because the weather has been crazy of late and I don't want to keep the V8 at the door. So when it gets pulled, I want it up the back here where it's safe and sound. So that's what I'm about to start now, but I do have the transmission now plugged in. And I've been working on power steering lines, which has not been going well. Turns out the V8 ones don't go into the VK steering box. You need to swap the nuts around, so I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to modify the 6-cylinder ones and reroute them from the passenger side to the driver's side where the pump is on the V8. But I need the engine out to do it. It's just too hard fiddling and fumbling around underneath the car. So once the motor's back out, then I'll do the power steering lines. But first, I've got to move that. And it's amazing how every time I push record, that dog starts barking. Annoying, annoying, annoying. Well, this is as far as I'm going to get this evening. It's almost fully in. I'm about half an engine mount out on that side and probably one full engine mount out on that side. I need to get the jack under on the transmission to lift it up so it'll bring it forward and the thing should fit in. Now that actually looks very small in here, doesn't it? Doesn't help that the tyres are low, the crane doesn't fit under the car. I've got this little step, that I had to jack the crane up to get over so I could get in, but it's almost in. It doesn't have to be fully in, but close enough is good enough. I will jack the back of the box up to get that sitting on the mounts, but it's out of the way now, and hopefully I'll finish that off tomorrow afternoon, and then we can get back working on this one. Yep, see you tomorrow. Wow, have any of you ever seen a V8 swapped out for a injected 202? Me either. It's in position, got a jack under the trans. It's actually a tight fit. Engine mounts not quite the same. They don't quite fit over the mounts. So that one's a little under, that one's a little on top. And you think V8 swapping a V8, VK is tight on the steering box. Look at this one. That's why the VK steering box is more to the left, because you got to get past the oil filter and oil pump. So I was thinking that wasn't going to go on with the oil filter on, but it does. So there it can stay out of the way, and if someone wants it, I'll rip it out. If not, it can go rubbish with the rest of the car when I'm done with it. So there you go, hey? No, I'm not going to try and get it running. Back to work on this one. Okay, so that's out of the way now. Before I start working on this, I want to give it a fire up for the last time before it comes out, before we put it back in, yada yada yada. So hopefully I've got enough charge in the jump pack and we can fire it up. Let's see how it goes. Well, I eventually got it to start up, but it wasn't without a fight. First reason why it wouldn't start is didn't have an earth connected up, and it appears I have a fuel delivery issue. Put a little bit down the throat and it will arc up. Fuel pump is pumping because I took the fuel in hose off, and although it not being very fresh, it's very yellow, like very concentrated wee, but it's still there. It doesn't smell too bad, but yeah. And then after I took that off, put it back on, that's when I tried it and it actually ran. So maybe the reg's no good or something like that, but it did go, and we can probably pull it out now. I did, while it was running, put it into gear, see if it would go in gear. It did go in gear, but didn't want to go back into park. So if you heard it ground a little bit, that was trying to get back into park. It didn't want to go in. I don't know why, but so that needs a little adjusting, but it's all coming out anyway, so it can be readjusted later on. So the next step is I want to drain the pan, the transmission pan, because I don't want fluid all over the floor again, and start getting ready to pull it. So that will start very soon. Just a quick one on the fuel issue with it not starting. It appears it's fixed itself. I wiggled the injectors and starts up fine now. So whether they weren't contacting right or whatever they do, they appear to be working now, so that's good. We'll keep an eye on that in the future. Now it's time to get under this thing and start draining that trans pan. Messy, messy fun. All right, the pan is off. I'm going to let that drain for a good while. Get all those drippity drips off so they don't go on the floor. Then we'll tip out the pan and pop it back on, ready to pull out. Oil does not look clean, it's very dirty, but we'll have a closer inspection when I get that out. I will put a new filter, do a quick service on it before it all goes back together, so don't worry about that. Yeah, it's just a waiting game now, so we don't make as much mess as we did last time. And another day, and the disassembly is going well. Exhaust is off and out. Trans mount is loosened with a jack underneath it. Crane is hooked up, ready to go. Fuse box out. Everything disconnected from the car. Airbox out. I'm going to leave as much stuff on as I can. Throttle disconnected. All this spaghetti disconnected. Fuel lines disconnected. Yeah, it's pretty much now undo the trans mount, and I think it's ready to yank out, I reckon. Yes, I'm going to leave as much of it together as I can, because it was hard enough remembering where everything went the first time around, let alone the second. So all the wiring harness is going to stay on the motor. We'll just place it neatly on top once it's out. Fuse box is still connected into the harness. Oh, have I got to get the main wiring harness through the firewall, back through the firewall, disconnected from the computer. Shifter out. It's happening a lot quicker the second time around than the first time, I can tell you that. So I'll keep working and we'll see how we go. Okay, trans cross member is out, passenger wheel is off, wiring is tucked up atop of the motor and cable tied in place. Engine mount bolts are out. I'm pretty sure all that's left to do is jack it up and pull it out. Just double checking everything, unplugged. It appears to be. So, next step is yanking it out. Okay, it's out, but of course the wheel on the thing broke. The nut came out the other side, and you know, I've had to scrape it along the concrete. So I'm going to try and repair that and get this out of the doorway, because it's raining again and we don't want any water in the motor. And there it is in its resting place for the next 1 to 3, 6 months. I will be moving it away from there at some stage to give it a clean, because it is filthy. Good thing is I did not manage to put any extra scratches on the charger, although we wanted to keep heading that way and had to keep redirecting it. That wheel on the crane is now fixed. It's just nut come off the end, and the wheel wanted to go bye-byes, but it's all good now. So now we have an empty engine bay again. So obviously need to fix up the battery tray, grind off more of that rubbish. We need to bend the fuel lines up along the firewall, work out some power steering lines, clean this all up, make it blue, and then it can all go back in again. But I will put the booster back in before the engine goes in. Once the engine's in, there's no way that booster's going in, so that has to go in before the motor. So it's very greasy and dirty, so that will need to be cleaned up. We'll see how we go. We have an empty engine bay again, and now the real hard work starts again on getting it ready to put the motor back in. So that'll all be on upcoming videos. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Hit subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.